Minwoo Lee just picked up a huge win at the Texas Children's Houston Open, his first PGA Tour win. I was tuned in. It was a win-win-win situation. I don't watch much PGA Tour golf, but down the stretch, it was Gary Woodland, Scottie Scheffler, and Minwoo Lee. It's like, Minwoo Lee has never won. Awesome guy. Scottie Scheffler went to prison for the game. Gary Woodland had brain surgery and is back. We'll get to his swing in another video. His swing is one of my favorites. In this video, we're going over why Minwoo's swing is so powerful, so efficient, and so different from what I see so many amateurs do. We're going to go step by step from the grip to the takeaway to the top of the backswing to transition to downswing to impact, and we'll talk about what you can learn from each part so you can apply it to your own motion. And stick around to the end because we're going to go over why Minwoo chips in so often, earning him one of the best nicknames on the PGA Tour, Dr. Chipinski. Let's start right at the beginning. Setup and grip. One detail that jumps out immediately and something that I love seeing every pro golfer have. Let's look at the fingers in the glove hand. See how they're visible? The glove fingers and the pad of his lead hand are pressing down on the grip. It's a small thing, but it's a great visual cue for being connected to the club without tension. This is signifying the club being in the fingers. You're not squeezing, but you're in control. His posture is athletic. We're going to see the hips are right over the ankles. His feet are flared just slightly. His spine is neutral, arms relaxed. This gives him freedom to rotate without restriction, and that sets the stage for everything that follows. And real quick, before we move on to a different swing, I want to show you the shot that he hit because it is so cool and so impressive. Just take a look. Oh my gosh. Low cut stinger right up the fairway. Let's look at a more stock drive for him. All right, now let's dive into the backswing where there is so much to love and a lot to learn for you at home. There are three big keys that I saw. First, let's look at the shot. That is stepped on. That is a big drive. First, Minwoo has an outside takeaway. So we see the hands inside and the club out. This builds width, and it gives him plenty of space to work with in transition. It also prevents the club from getting stuck behind him like I see so many people do. They get the club back there in no man's land. That's the first move of your backswing, and you're just screwing yourself for the rest of the swing. I do have to say the only person, there might be a couple others that out there that make it work with the super inside takeaway is Matt Fitzpatrick. You can look up his swing for yourself. Secondly, the club face is slightly open relative to his spine angle. You're going to see it a lot more in the irons, but that's actually something we saw a lot from young Tiger Woods. For players with fast hips and good body rotation, I think a slightly open position of the club face works really well. It sets up the face to square naturally through rotation rather than needing a late flip of the hands. As we work to the top, this is a position that I really like, where the shaft is a lot more vertical. That's also one thing to note. His takeaway is a little bit steeper than what you've seen in the textbook model. Compare him to someone like Rory, where you see the club face riding up the forearm, the right forearm. His is more vertical. This takeaway with the club being outside of the hands, it could be compared to the likes of Patrick Cantlay, Dustin Johnson, and others. And people like Rory and Scottie Scheffler have the club right in front of the hands, which is totally fine too. Outside the hands is good, in front of the hands is good, and slightly behind the hands is okay too. What we don't want to see is the club in no man's land back there. So as we work our way to the top, we get that steepness, but then he starts to lay it off. Eventually gets to that, close to along the forearm position. And then at the top, this is slightly unconventional from what we see in traditional PGA Tour swings. His backswing is slightly laid off. It's not extreme. It's just enough to get the shaft lined up with the shallow inside path. In my opinion, that laid off look is what some people would critique, but I think it is part of what makes his downswing so efficient. Let's take a look at a different swing here with an iron, and we're going to be looking at transition first. Let's look at the swing, and also shout out to Minwoo for posting all these videos to his Instagram and just being so active on social media. That's why he is the people's champion. Everybody loves him. Oh, that is... I am jealous. And quick to revisit the takeaway. Look at that position right there. Can you see the ball? No, you cannot. He takes the club back like 3 feet before that club covers the ball. That is so good. Like if you just look at the club face, you couldn't really tell if he took it back a foot, 2 foot. Improper grammar there. 3 feet. That is so good. If you have like a mirror, a full-length mirror at home, that's a great thing to practice that takeaway where you have a ball, you have a club, you take it back, and the club covers the ball. Perfect. But we're looking at transition here in this iron swing. What I see so many amateurs do, their first move in the downswing, this trail elbow is what we're looking at. It goes out that way. They spin out of the shot. That is what so many amateurs do, and it might be one of the most common swing faults outside of early extension and a poor grip and a poor takeaway and all that. But what Minwoo does and what pretty much every PGA Tour player does and what you need to do at home is feel like this elbow, this trail elbow, is dropping instead of going out. So let's take a look and see what Minwoo does. Obviously, the elbow is going to have to work a little bit that way, just because he's keeping the arms in front of the body. He's not getting stuck behind. But for the most part, it goes straight down. So just look at the elbow, nothing else. I'll draw the line there right in front of it. Keeps it back and down. Perfect. What's important of that, there's no spinning out, there's no lateral slide, there's no early shoulder flare. He just drops it into the slot effortlessly. His lower body starts the move, the upper body stays back for like a millisecond. That is elite sequencing. Most amateurs, like I said, they yank the club from the top, they spin open too early, they get steep, and then they have to compensate, usually with a flip at the bottom. Minwoo avoids all that by moving from the ground up, letting the arms fall naturally before turning through. Bang. Now we're in the downswing with another different swing, and Minwoo's efficiency really shows up here. Let's take a look at the swing from start to finish first. Absolutely murks the ball, murders it, whatever you want to say. His downswing is close to perfect. I'm going to have one small critique of his swing. It's not me telling him to do better, because what he does works for him, but it might not work for everybody at home. So let's take a look. As his hips begin to clear, you can see his belt buckle pretty much points towards the target before the club is even parallel to the ground. That's a move that's really common among speed players like Justin Thomas. He's creating torque, generating power, and I saw the announcer say that he was averaging like 330 yards off the tee last week when he won at the Houston, Texas Children's Open. and he's clearing the path for the club to come through on the inside. You'll also notice that his trail foot comes off the ground very early. And this is a move that I don't usually recommend to students, because for most players, that's a sign of losing their angles and early extending. So let's look at Ernie Els quick and see his impact position. Obviously does not hit it as far as Minwoo. He's also like 40 years older, but they call him, I think, the Big Easy. He's very accurate, very precise, and he is a heavy hitter too, by all means. I even saw a video online saying that Minwoo early extends, which I don't think he does, honestly, because I think so he comes off that vertical line right there, which is typically the telltale sign of early extension, but that needs to be complemented with him losing his spine angle. Like if his spine angle was up there, I would say, yeah, he early extends, but he doesn't do that. So that vertical line, like I said, it's usually what coaches look for in early extension, but he stays in his posture. So while it may look like early extension on paper, in practice, it's part of how he creates space and speed. He's strong, athletic, and he timed it up perfectly. All right, we're back to this gorgeous iron swing here, which I noticed he doesn't bring his left or his right foot up that much on this one at all, really. I don't know why. Maybe just because it's on the range. Maybe it's because it's just an iron. But this looks a lot better, in my opinion, if I were critiquing it. But as far as impact goes, Minwoo is in a position that so many players chase. His hips are already cleared, right? His belt buckle is towards the target, not fully, but pointed out there. His upper body is stable. We look at his shoulders right down the line of his feet. That is perfect. And because of those hips being cleared, he's able to exit low and left. That is the sequencing you want after impact. Low and left with a square face. It's perfect. If your hips don't clear, your body stalls out and your hands have to save it. That's when the flip shows up. It's when timing starts to dominate your swing. That's when consistency disappears. Minwoo's rotation eliminates the need for that. He's not flipping. He's rotating through impact with full body control. And as for the follow through and the finish, it is photo finish. I love it. It's balanced, it's powerful, it's stylish. You'll often see, let's go back a couple of frames here. Look at this. The club keyframe here. Shaft matching the shoulder line. Full extension. The right arm releases down the line like you see here. And of course, if he wasn't on the range, this would be accompanied by a perfect signature Minwoo Lee club twirl. Here's your bonus why he is called Dr. Chipinski. If you made it this far, here's your reward, because we have to talk about his short game. I love short game, and this guy chips in a lot. He doesn't just swing it well. He holes out from all over the place. We're talking about just the stock chip right now, and he's fearless around the greens. That's pretty funny, though. What do you say? I felt a little sick today, so I called the doctor. Yeah, that's pretty good. He's got super soft hands. He has a lot of creativity, as we're going to take a look at here, just even on the bump and run chips. And he has a lot of willingness to try different trajectories, different spins, different setups. But here's what's consistent. Before we get into that, notice these are both bump and runs. On the right, his feet are to the left of the target, like you see a traditional chip shot. You see weight on the front foot. You see the feet flared open to the left of the target. And on the left, his feet are to the right of the target. Right? What is consistent, though, two things. His takeaway is outside of the hands, just like his full swing. His takeaway is outside of the hands. But the one takeaway on why he chips in so much, a lot of chippers have the club outside of the hands. Why does he chip in so much? It's because his club is square to the target pretty much throughout the whole chipping stroke. So I say a lot to my students, and especially my junior students, like if I'm going to draw two eyeballs on the club face when you chip, two eyeballs, those eyeballs should be looking at the target the entire time. The more you rotate the club face, the more you have to time it up for the ball to start on line. So look at that frame right there. The club face on the follow through. Right at the target. Right at the target. On the right. No club face rotation. It's perfect. It's perfect. This allows him to control the start line precisely no matter how creative the shot is. And if you're working on your chipping at home, start with that thought. Train yourself to keep the face square to your intended line. You'll immediately notice that every chip starts where you're aiming. It's one of the most underrated ways to improve your short game fast. So if you made it to the end, first of all, thank you for watching. This is the first in-depth swing analysis I've done of a PGA Tour winner. I post a lot on Instagram, but I just appreciate you watching this all the way through. What do the YouTubers say? Like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate anything, but hopefully I'm doing one of these for Gary Woodland soon. If he doesn't win, I'm still going to do it because I love the person. I love the swing. Minwoo Lee, also very deserving. Exciting to see him perform in the Masters. Let me know what you think in the comments, and until next time, take it to Tempo Town.